Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. You know what that means. It's time for the Security Token Show, and I'm your host, Herwig Konings, and I am very excited to be here today, giving you all the latest and greatest in the real-world asset space. And, of course, crypto is on fire, as we all know, and this last week has been no exception for RWAs either. We've got a heck of an episode talking about all kinds of cool news regarding interoperability and multi-chain assets, as well as new tokenizations, and a couple of special announcements. So let's start there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I am excited about this one, everyone. We have been working in stealth mode for many months now on a new organization that we're going to be launching focused specifically on crypto natives for RWAs. That's all I'm going to say today, because you're going to have to tune in on Tuesday next week at the Benzinga Future of Digital Assets Conference over in New York. If you're going to be there, come say hello. But otherwise, there is a live stream. You can tune in at 9:55 a.m. We will be doing a massive project reveal. I cannot wait. We have incredible partners, an incredible team, and so many exciting things we're going to be doing with this new organization that I just cannot wait to tell you more about it, but you're going to have to. But in the meantime, if you missed it, also TokenizeThis 2025. We announced it earlier that we are going to go to New York next year for April 16th to 18th. So if you want to hop on the waitlist and get those tickets when we announce them soon, we will be announcing an agenda and speakers next month. Go to summit.stm.co to make sure you stay up to date on that. So I cannot wait. We're fired up. We got so many more cool things in the works that I just can't quite tease yet either. But with that, let's move on with the show and get right into the industry updates. And as you might have already figured out, I am on my own this week. Too bad, but there's DevCon going on where Kyle's hopping around, and unfortunately Nico couldn't make it. So you're just going to have to get the scoop from me, and I want to ramble a lot about a couple of big updates. Once again, there was so much happening in tokenization specifically, we cannot cover it all. There was I think over 100 million euro worth of real estate that's getting tokenized by Realtime. The UK is exploring issuing gilts, which is essentially treasuries that they issue out there. And apparently coming soon, there's going to be now instant conversions with ONDO's OUSG and PayPal's PYUSD, right? So that's all cool news. There's even more to tap into. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter on STM to get the weekly updates. And if you have a chance, please give this a like, give it a subscribe or a share if you can. It really helps us out. But I want to dive into the big news this week, which is essentially what I'm calling the chain wars now being in full swing, as our title suggests, right? We are seeing that, we have actually been talking on the show for quite some time that, of course, real world assets are multi-chain products, right? There is no reason we have to be limited where we ledger our token asset. If there is a application or a benefit to using Avalanche over here, but there is another use case here on Polygon or a marketplace that trades with a different price on a different chain, that interoperability is a benefit for RWAs and a benefit for token holders. And that's why we are now seeing that trend in full effect. And we've seen actually, a lot of credit to Franklin Templeton and ONDO, who have definitely led the charge on that. We've seen some other use cases for multi-chain assets, but BUIDL made big waves this week. Securitize and BlackRock's BUIDL, their institutional, tokenized money market fund, essentially, is actually now finally multi-chain itself. So we all know, I think, that it was originally launched on Ethereum, which was a bold move by the asset manager itself. BlackRock being the largest asset manager in the world, no one expected them to launch on the public Ethereum. This wasn't even a private permission or anything, a permission version or anything like that. And now it is official that it's on several other chains. So we now see it on Aptos, we see it on Arbitrum, Avalanche, Optimism, and Polygon in the mix as well. But what I wanted to highlight that's really interesting here is, excuse me, one, we have the interoperability providers, right? We have Wormhole in this case that is actually powering this with Securitize. There's Chainlink, which has their CCIP. There's Layer 0. There's Acceler. There's a lot of interoperability solutions out there. In this case, it's Wormhole. But what's even more interesting is they actually changed up the management fees between products. And actually, it turns out it's because they're working with the foundations to subsidize those fees. So you can actually kind of see who subsidized and who didn't. You can see our graphic here. Avalanche, Polygon, and Aptos saying, hey, we're going to make it even cheaper to use BUIDL in our ecosystem. It'll be interesting to see which chains get what kind of adoption and application and usage across it. And of course, you'll be able to track all that at stm.co. Moving on, we actually saw more multi-chain asset news. We saw officially BENJI move on to yet another chain, this time Ethereum. So they kind of did the reverse of what BUIDL did, funny enough. And now they are finally also using the layer 1 Ethereum chain for BENJI as well. So these products, you got Franklin Templeton itself on also Stellar, Arbitrum, Polygon, Avalanche, and Base. And ONDO's USDY takes the cake. Ethereum, Solana, Mantle, Arbitrum, Noble, Aptos, SWI, and OUSG is on Ethereum, Polygon, and Solana. All right, so that's showing you that this is a multi-chain world. Even a shout out to Wisdom Tree on Stellar and Ethereum. And there are many other examples, but I'm just trying to prove a point here, which is that, this is almost a background technology in the future. Some people may want that preference or have to deal with the user experience of bridging or going multi-chain. But in my opinion, it's going to be as easy as cake to go ahead and swap between chains. You may not even know it to potentially use certain applications and otherwise within DeFi and CeFi. So to me, RWAs, it's about the underlying asset, the tokenization technology, and the fact that it's stuck on one specific chain is a bug, right? So we want multi-chain assets. We want this feature. We want this benefit. And it's going to be interesting to see how this continues to play out. As I said earlier, there's a lot of interoperability providers. They really almost at the end of the day along the transfer agent are the golden unified record, if you will. And so that's an interesting, important role within, of course, the whole RWA ecosystem. Moving on, I want to give a shout out to the ratings that were given out by Moody's and Particular. Particular does particularly good work. I always love their reports. So if you're interested, go check that out. But the Anemoy LTF fund, if you're not familiar with it, this is, hosted on Centrifuge. And it's actually recently Janice Henderson, a massive asset manager, came in to kind of be the acting manager of this product. So this is another big boy player, if you will, or a big girl player. At the end of the day, we're going to see this space continue to evolve. And if you're not a huge, potentially professional asset manager, if you're trying to target institutional clients, you're competing against the biggest players in the world. So get ready to better have an edge on that, right? It was for anyone that was wondering, a AA from Moody's and an A+ from Particular on this product. And in the last 30 days since we've seen the announcement with Janice Henderson, we've seen a lot of growth, over 200% in AUM growth. It's pretty good. Another big announcement we got to talk about, fam, is Tether. They are the largest stable coin issuer in the world. We know with Bitfinex, they've been focused on RWAs from building a regulatory sort of compliant marketplace and distribution channel. And now it's official. Tether has Hadron, or Hadron probably, which is their tokenization platform. Tokenization of anything, even loyalty points, stable coins, of course, but we're looking at stocks and bonds and everything else at the end of the day. They say they have a very robust KYC AML compliance infrastructure, which is, of course, necessary because we are talking about very regulated products here. If they want to do stocks and bonds, not loyalty points and even stable coins. There's a self-custody benefit that they want to push, of course. So this is not going to be necessarily a TradFi product. The way I interpret this is going to be a very RWA native or crypto native audience that will end up taking advantage or will end up using this in some capacity, right? So if you're an issuer and you're really trying to target crypto natives for your RWA, this may well be a very good platform designed to reach that audience. This is really what I'm trying to sum it up. It's, of course, also multi-chain, they say. Not surprising given what we're talking about. All issuance platforms, tokenization engines, whatever you want to call them, they have to do this right. And ultimately, they are also on Liquid, which is, of course, a Bitcoin layer too. So it's cool to see. So Tether being such a massive player in the stablecoin space, it'll be very interesting to see how successful they are in the RWA space with this new product. Given that Bitfinex, is getting there, starting to do some offerings. It didn't work out so well with the I think it was a Hilton or something like that over in El Salvador. But I expect them to be an important part of this infrastructure that Tether is being built out, or Paolo is really building out here between all these different players. So definitely need to keep an eye on that. We will absolutely be looking to track all that. And Arca and Block Tower are merging, folks. This is really cool. Two massive, well-reputable asset managers in the space, both with a good understanding of RWAs as well, are teaming up, bringing their resources together, their talent together, to make better digital asset products and strategies to compete in this new market and this new opportunity that's right around the corner. So I think the timing is excellent. And the one thing that I want to note is that the exception of Block Tower Venture Capital, that's going to remain independent. It's going to operate independently. So worth pointing out. Everything else, the RIAs that they both have in principle might get consolidated, or who knows how they're going to treat it. Cool shout out to INX for hosting a vegan tokenized burger joint. So plant-based fast food over in France. That's what Furaha Group is all about. So obviously you do your own research, go check it out. The Fura token will be listed on INX and a pretty cool exposure, right? Especially franchises and fast food chains, things like that, unless they're absolutely massive like a McDonald's and a Burger King and such, whatever's listed on the stock exchange, you usually don't get access to those sort of opportunities. They're usually, you either have to become a franchisee or a big private equity firm that invests in it. So this is really cool to see. INX always doing very novel new RWA tokens. So we'll be wishing a lot of success to them. And I want to end our week here of news specifically on a stable coin. We usually don't cover those as much, but this one was interesting, and I wanted to discuss the USDA stable coin. Nothing to do with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration or anything like that. No, Avalon Labs is behind this, and it is a Bitcoin-backed stable coin. Okay, so the concept is they've basically over-collateralized the dollar-denominated stable coin. They said that it's reached $100 million in size, which means that there's $200 million in Bitcoin backing this. They've built a whole infrastructure, a whole crypto DeFi sort of infrastructure behind this, which is, of course, expected, but cool to see. You can go actually as a Bitcoin holder, borrow using your Bitcoin over there. And you can also actually, they say, up to 20 to 50% rates through this whole system. So this is very interesting. I found contracts on ETH, BNB, Mantle, and Base. And they said that layer 0 is their interoperability provider. So this looks to be like it's a multi-chain stable coin if we're reading this right. But the very interesting thing, excuse me for that, the very interesting thing is, of course, how much are they going to keep collateralizing? On one end, it makes sense that this is good for Bitcoin. You're going to get a lot of activity in principle that if the stable coin can become very big, you've now helped the Bitcoin value, right? Because this Bitcoin is backing the stable coin and it's in principle grown with the stable coin. But of course, in this case scenario, if we have a black swan event and you get more than 50% drop in Bitcoin price all of a sudden, and it's definitely anyone who's been in crypto long enough would know that that's totally possible. Are we now looking at another Terra Luna situation, which is why this one's interesting to keep an eye on, because always with the euphoria and the rise of the bull market, which are exciting times, I'm freaking pumped, super happy about how the market is going, obviously, but it also invites a lot of scammers. It invites a lot of con artists and not saying in any way that this is the USDA is that in any shape or form. In fact, what I'm trying to say on that front is that it's more of an innovation thing, and we have to be treading sometimes carefully on that front to make sure we don't create systematic risk for the wider crypto industry as we saw in the past. Because definitely I think everyone can agree that was one of the factors alongside FTX and all that, leading to, once again, dark times. So let's not let that happen again. So I do think it's a very novel innovation. So I want to congratulate Avalon Labs for this first of its kind, as far as I understand, stable coin. And I'll be interested to see how the crypto market reacts to it. Seems like their supply is already sizable. We'll see how it grows. But that's all I got for you on the RWA front this week. I don't have anyone else to chat with you with about it, but please leave me some comments or DM me on social media, on X or on LinkedIn, so we can have a conversation. I want to learn more about what you want to hear on the show. But that's definitely what I think is important for the week. So with that, I'm going to sign off here. Of course, go to stm.co whenever you get a chance. Oh, just kidding. We got a company of the week. That's right. You thought we were done, but we're not. We, of course, have the most important part of our show where we, normally I say we because Kyle is on this show co-hosting, but we pick a company of the week. We thought, all right, who deserves our spotlight for doing something cool? And at the end of the day, there was a lot of cool stuff going on. Given that we were so focused about multi-chain assets, I'm going to shoot it out to BUIDL for my company of the week, just because what Securitize and BlackRock have done here, not just cool on the interoperability front all at once, being on multiple chains through, a big part, of course, and thanks to Wormhole. But the management fees element is I think, novel innovation, a way that ecosystems can now subsidize and bet on certain RWAs and encouraging activity and vice versa, potentially for asset managers, right? So as we see more and more products, especially the ones that are very similar to each other, like tokenized treasuries and money market funds and the sort, management fees become a very important part of the conversation, right? And the way that we can now see that this can be multi-chain, not just sort of at the entity level, is very powerful. I think it deserves, company of the week status for that reason. So, of course, there was a lot of other exciting stuff happening in space, and I'm very excited to see where 2025 is already going to be for RWAs and for the crypto space as a whole. I think there's going to be an amazing convergence, and that's what I'm going to be talking about next week on Tuesday at Benzinga's event. Hopefully, you can tune in live to learn more. And with that, check out stm.co in the meantime for all your latest trading data. We released yet another great monthly report. We got more cool stuff coming soon. And I'll catch you again next week. Happy tokenizing.